Welcome back to the deep dive. Look, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Or, I guess the Demogorgon in the room.
I think that's fair to say.
It has been exactly 3 weeks since the Stranger Things finale dropped on New Year's Eve. The dust has settled, the tears have, finally dried. But the confusion, I feel like it's just getting started.
It really is. You'd think a finale would be like the period at the end of the sentence.
Right.
But this one feels way more like a question mark.
Exactly. And that is the huge problem we are tackling today. I mean, I opened my phone this morning and my feed is just flooded. I'm seeing these viral roadmaps for a Stranger Things cinematic universe. I see rumors about Steve and Dustin starting a ghost hunting business. People are arguing about 1940s naval experiments. It's a total mess.
It's classic information overload. You have fan theories mixing with official announcements, mixing with, deep lore from books that most people haven't even read.
So, okay, here's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to cut through all that noise. We're not just recapping the finale. We're going to map out what you call the transmedia ecosystem.
Right. We need to look at the history you didn't see on TV, figure out which of these spin-off rumors are real, and talk about what's actually coming in spring 2026.
And we have the sources to do it.
We do. I've pulled together the production reports, the official canon hierarchy guidelines, and a pretty deep analysis of the whole franchise mythology to make sense of all this.
Okay, so let's start where we just left off. The finale, the right side up, December 31st, 2025. It was a lot.
It was an emotional gut punch.
For sure. But looking at the tactical breakdown you brought, it wasn't just feelings. It was like a straight-up military operation.
That's a key distinction. I mean, in other seasons, the plan was always a bit, scrappy.
Kids with fireworks and slingshots, yeah.
Exactly. But this was a multi-pronged assault. The analysis highlights what they call the bridge operation.
Right, with Murray's truck. But unpack that for me. Why was that so important? It felt like more than just a battering ram.
It was. They were using specialized ordnance, basically repurposed military tech, to physically break through the barrier to the abyss.
So they weren't just waiting for a gate to open or for 11 to, blast a hole in reality?
No, this time they forced a door open. That's what allowed them to hit the hive mind physically, not just psychically.
That grounds it in a kind of gritty reality. And then, of course, the execution. We have to talk about Joyce Byers.
The absolute MVP of the finale.
The moment she took that axe to Vecna, I think the entire internet cheered. But from a lore perspective, why did that even work? I mean, Vecna's basically a wizard. An axe shouldn't do much.
Well, see, he was already weakened. He'd been impaled by the interdimensional geometry. The Upside Down itself had kind of turned on him.
Right.
So when Joyce decapitated his physical form, it was more symbolic. The hive mind needs a conductor, She basically broke the baton.
And while she's doing the physical work, Will Byers is finally doing the heavy lifting on the mental side. This was the arc everyone was waiting for.
It was so essential. Think about it. For years, Will's connection to the Mind Flayer was his biggest trauma.
It made him the victim.
Always.
Yeah.
But in the finale, he flips that. He doesn't just sense the Mind Flayer. He freezes it. He uses its own network against it to hold the physical form still for that final blow.
So he literally weaponized his trauma.
Exactly. He turned his greatest weakness into the move that won the whole war, which is just, incredibly satisfying storytelling.
It really is. But then we get to the very end. The scene that launched 1,000 Reddit threads. The Iceland mystery.
The Sorsardalur Valley.
The land of 1,000 waterfalls. It was beautiful, but what was it?
We see 11 standing there alone, and then cut to black. Show's over.
So is she dead? Is she alive?
This is the biggest debate right now.
Yeah.
The sources really split this into two camps. Camp A is the literal sacrifice theory.
Okay, the tragic ending.
Right. This theory says that 11 died closing the final portal. The energy required just, burned her out. So that Iceland scene is like a post-death vision, an afterlife.
Wow, that is incredibly bleak for a show about friendship.
It is, which is why Camp B, the strategic escape theory, is so popular. And this one is interesting. It brings back Kali.
Wait, 008, the sister from the punk gang in season 2?
The very one. The theory suggests that Kali, who can create illusions, sacrificed herself in the raid, which let 11 fake her own death.
So 11 is alive, but she has to stay dead to the world to finally be free from the government.
Exactly. But here's the kicker, and this comes from the Duffer Brothers themselves. They haven't confirmed either theory. But they did say that 11 represents the magic of childhood.
I see where this is going.
For the others to truly grow up and become adults, the magic has to leave. So whether she literally died or just left for good, her function in the story is complete. The safety blanket is gone.
They've graduated. Wow.
You can't go back to the basement and play D&D forever.
Yeah, that's heavy. Well, speaking of going back, this is where your research really blew my mind. I mean, we all think of Stranger Things as the ultimate 80s show.
Neon, malls, synths. For sure.
But you're saying the story actually starts, what, 40 years earlier?
If you've only seen the show, you are seeing the absolute tip of the iceberg. The stage play, the first shadow, it completely rewrote the timeline. The story doesn't start in '83. It starts in 1943.
1843, World War II.
With Project Rainbow.
Okay, I think I've heard of this. This is the Philadelphia experiment, right? The real-world conspiracy theory?
The exact one. The show basically just made it canon. The USS Eldridge. The Navy was supposedly trying to make a ship invisible to radar.
And in the show's world, it worked a little too well.
They didn't just vanish from radar, they vanished from our dimension. The ship was zapped into this primordial realm for a few moments. That was humanity's first contact with Dimension X.
The sailors saw all of it. The demogorgons, the toxic air.
They saw the shadow monster. And here's the connection that just changes everything. Dr. Brenner's father was on that ship.
Papa's father.
He died in the experiment. So when you look at Martin Brenner's life's work, Encultra, the tanks, all of it, it stops being just Cold War science.
It's a vengeance quest.
It's a multi-generational obsession. He spent his entire life trying to get back to the place that killed his dad.
Wow. Okay. That recontextualizes everything about him. But you said the biggest change was about Henry Creel, about Vecna.
Yeah, the biggest retcon.
Yeah.
In season 4, the story is he was just, born bad, the classic bad seed.
Right, a psychopath.
But the stage play, the first shadow, it flips that completely. Henry Creel wasn't born evil. He was infected.
Infected. Like a parasite.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
In the 1950s, the Creels lived in Nevada. Henry goes missing for 12 hours near a military base. When he comes back, his blood type has changed.
Whoa. Just from being gone for 12 hours.
Yeah. The play reveals he was exposed to the mind flayer. It effectively colonized him.
So his powers, the telekinesis, that wasn't...
It was a byproduct of that colonization. He wasn't a mutant. He was Vessel.
That makes him the first victim.
It does. It changes the entire genre. It's not a supervillain story anymore. It's cosmic horror. He was just a puppet.
This is fascinating, but it brings up a huge problem for me. You're talking about stage plays, novels, real-world history. How do I know what actually counts? If I didn't see the play, am I watching the show wrong?
It's a really common pain point. And because the franchise got so big, they had to establish a canon hierarchy. Think of it like how Star Wars used to have the expanded universe, or how Marvel manages its timeline.
Okay, so break down the tiers. What's the stuff I absolutely have to pay attention to?
Tier 1 is core canon. This is the absolute, unchangeable truth. That's the Netflix show itself and the sage play, the first shadow.
If it's on screen or on stage, it's gospel.
Exactly.
And what about all the books and comics?
That's Tier 2, or soft canon.
Soft canon. What does that even mean?
It means the stories are supervised by the writer's room, but they aren't legally binding. So if the Duffer Brothers write a script that contradicts a book, the script always wins.
So the book just gets erased, basically.
It gets retconned out of existence, yeah.
Then why should I even bother reading them?
Because they fill in the emotional gaps. They give you the character work the show just doesn't have time for. I mean, take the novel Darkness on the Edge of Town.
Great title.
It's perfect.
Wow.
It's about Jim Hopper's years as a homicide detective in the NYPD.
Before he came back to Hawkins.
Right. It explains the trauma, the cynicism. It shows you why he was so broken in season 1. It adds all this texture.
And I see one on your list here about Eddie Munson.
Flight of Icarus. It's his whole backstory, the origins of the Hellfire Club.
Mm.
If you loved Eddie, that book makes his sacrifice hit like twice as hard.
And what's Suspicious Minds?
That's the story of Terry Ives, Eleven's mom. It's all about the Indigo program, which was the code name for MCultra. It's basically the spy thriller of the universe.
Okay, so books for texture, show for plot. Got it. But let's pivot to the future. This is where the internet is just losing its mind. I mentioned that Phase 1 roadmap I saw.
A viral graphic, yeah.
A Nancy Wheeler detective show. Harrington and Henderson Paranormal Services. Please tell me that was real. I would pay so much money for a Stephen Dustin ghost-busting show.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
No, don't say it.
That roadmap is a fake.
You're kidding me.
I'm so sorry. The data is clear. It was fan-made. It just looks so professional that everyone believed it. But there's no official Stranger Things cinematic universe plan with those titles.
That is genuinely devastating. I was ready to buy the t-shirt.
I know. We all were. But, and this is a big but, just because that graphic is fake doesn't mean nothing's happening. What is confirmed for spring 2026 is actually really specific.
Okay, lay it on us. What are we actually getting?
First up, we have Tales from '85. That's the new animated series.
Animated. Okay, what kind of vibe are we talking?
Think Saturday morning 80s cartoon. It's set in the winter of 1985, so that puts it right between Season 2 and Season 3.
The snowball era.
Exactly. But there is a catch, a sort of necessary evil.
Which is?
The voice cast. They couldn't use the original actors, Millie Bobby Brown, Finn Wolfhard. They're all adults now. They just don't sound like 13-year-olds anymore.
Right, you can't have a 22-year-old just pitch up their voice. It sounds weird.
So they brought in a new cast. It's going to be Brooklyn, Davey Norstead as 11, Luca Diaz as Mike.
That is going to be jarring for a lot of fans.
It'll take some getting used to, for sure. But the trade-off is freedom. With animation, they can do things that are impossible in live action. They can have monsters that would cost $50 million in CGI.
Okay, so we have the cartoon for nostalgia. But is there anything live action coming? Are we done with real cameras?
There is one major live action project confirmed. The working title is Clean Slate. And this one connects to a tiny blink and you miss it detail from the Season 5 finale.
Which one?
The Red Rock.
In the flashback, when Henry Creel was in that cave.
Yes. In that flashback, he finds this glowing red rock inside a briefcase. The show implies that this object is what fused with him. It's the source code of his power.
And we never found out what it was or who put it there?
Correct. And that mystery is the whole premise of the new show. It follows the journey of that one object. How did it get from the abyss to our world? Where did it come from?
So it's like an anthology series.
It seems that way. It's a clean slate. New town, new characters, maybe even a new time period. All anchored by this one piece of mythology.
That feels risky. Stranger Things without Hawkins. Without the party.
It is. But it shows they're trying to build a franchise that can survive without the original cast. They're moving from character stories to, like, object-based lore.
Speaking of surviving without the cast, we need to talk about the Duffer Brothers, the architects of this whole thing. But I keep seeing headlines that they're, packing their bags?
They are making a massive move. In April 2026, Matt and Ross Duffer are moving their production company, Upside Down Pictures, to Paramount.
To Paramount. So they're leaving Netflix.
Physically, yeah. It's a 4-year deal. They're shifting from prestige TV to making, big event movies. Blockbusters.
Wait, so does Netflix lose custody of the kids here? What happens to the Stranger Things IP?
No, don't worry. Netflix owns the IP completely.
Yeah.
And the Duffers have made it very clear that even with the move, they will remain very, very involved with the universe at Netflix. They're not abandoning it.
Okay, good. But their main creative focus is shifting. What are they working on at Paramount?
Well, their first big project is a Stephen King adaptation, The Talisman.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. King is baked into their DNA.
It's the perfect fit. Parallel dimensions, a young kid on a quest.
Yeah.
It's right in their wheelhouse. They're also doing a live-action Death Note series.
Death Note, the anime?
The very same.
Wow, that is a tall order. That fan base is intense.
It is, and live-action anime adaptations have a terrible track record.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone can handle teenagers with dangerous supernatural powers, it's probably them. They also have an original series called The Burrows.
So, okay, pulling this all together, we started this deep dive thinking about the finale, the end of the road. But looking at this whole map you've drawn out, from 1943 through Henry Creel's infection, through the show, and now into these spin-offs.
It's not just a TV show anymore.
It's not. It went from kids on bikes to this multi-generational mythology that spans almost a century. It's a saga.
And that kind of brings us to the so what for everyone listening.
Hit us with it.
The finale ended with a graduation. The original party disbanded. They're adults now. They've moved on. But look at what the franchise itself is doing with the Red Rock spinoff and the cartoon. They're sending a very clear message.
Which is what?
The characters can leave Hawkins. They can grow up, get jobs, move on. But the door to the Upside Down, it's never fully shut. The horror is just dormant.
Well, that's a terrifying thought to end on. The monster's just waiting for the next generation. Thank you so much for walking us through the abyss today. It is good to have a map. And to you, the learner, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Whether your Team 11 lived or Team 11 died, do us a favor and keep those lights on. We'll see you next time.